I'm going to invite a couple of people, make sure they know we're live. Second. Check. Let's do invite. Beth. I'm sitting here trying to figure out from this. I brought the wrong computer. Let me go get my other one. Let me go get my cell phone. So I know we're live right now, but Ronnie, tell me a little bit about yourself because I feel like you're newer to the group, right?
You're talking to me.
Am I saying your name right? Is it Ronnie?
No, it is. Yep, it is.
Okay.
So yeah,
I hate when people call me everything but Portia. But what's up, Queen?
Right? And I'll say Ronnie or what's your real name? It's Ronnie. So yeah, I am new. I saw it on Meetup, and so I thought the book was interesting. I'd not had a chance to read it, so I'm in full disclosure, I've not read the whole thing, but definitely am always interested in anything financial literacy related. And especially, books that are kind of geared towards a very basic level, because I don't think people really understand the importance of, I don't think you can invest if you can't, pay your light bill. So that's the kind of, attitude that I have about life. And so I'm always looking to see if there's something else new I can learn and pass on to other people or learn and share, right, for myself and for other people. So
I agree. I will say, and we haven't met yet. So Queen, I am Portia. I was one of the original organizers, and then I became a co-organizer. I own a day spa here in Nashville. I own some salon suites. I own an aesthetic school. But I say all that to say one of the turning points for me was when I started becoming more financial literate. When I got to the point where I wasn't scared to, I think in the community, we often get to the point where we're scared to look at our bank accounts, right? And when I was no longer there, when I took authority, for lack of a better term, over my money, and I'm sorry, when I got to the point where I wasn't, girl, that was my phone. I keep looking down. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It changed the game for me because all of my businesses are debt-free. I'm personally debt-free. I've been blessed to where I could help other women become debt-free, both personally and in business. And it's because I think it's about building a tribe. But it started for me with The Millionaire Next Door. I don't know if you've read that book. It is an amazing book. And it changed the way I thought about money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this book, it's on my desk in there. This book kind of elevated that to the next level. I'm sorry. Today is supposed to be a school night. And so you see me talking to one of the instructors. I don't think the students are showing up tonight until 6:32. I just wanted to, I think that's what they said in the chat.
Okay.
You can reread it though. I'm a Pisces, so I could be entirely wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna keep the keys anyway.
Okay. So what do you do, if you don't mind me asking? Like, I know we're women.
I own a business. I left my job a few years ago, and I provide. It was certainly a step of faith, but I've been consulting for the last 3 years, and
Okay.
I help healthcare companies just respond to requests for proposals. So from there.
I love that. So wait, give me a little
Mhm.
more. Like what type of proposals? That is dope. Can I tell you, I've met a lot of consultants.
Yeah.
You are the first to say that. And I was a nurse before I was an esthetician.
Okay.
So you speak in my love language. So
Yeah.
what kind of
So
consultant?
when you have primarily government sponsored healthcare programs, so like Medicaid, right? Or you may have something that's behavioral health, or even some tobacco cessation. So things like that. So I don't know if most people know that most of the states outsource their Medicaid contracts, right? To companies like Anthem, United, and Humana, all of those different companies. And so what I do is I help companies kind of prepare for the actual RFP, to lead the RFP, to do something if it's specific to supplier diversity, things like that. And I work with other companies too, like IT companies, but primarily with healthcare companies.
You know why I think that is so dope. One of my sisters by another mister, as I like to call her, she owns a ghostwriting company, and
Mhm.
like she does amazing work. But one of her clients, they work with Medicare. They're one of those people where they outsource out to,
Right.
and until she started telling me that that was the thing, I did not know.
I know most people don't. My family doesn't know what I do, and I've literally done this for like a decade and a half. They
I
still like,
think that
she
is
works
amazing.
with people to do stuff.
I think that is amazing. I think that's amazing on several fronts. I love for the fact that you're a woman of color, and I know people say that, but as someone who's been in the medical field, it hits
Mhm.
different when you
Mhm.
can see someone who is a reflection of who you are
Right.
in a position where traditionally you may not see us,
Right.
and flourishing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think any woman who has worked corporate in any form knows, like, that corporation is making, girl, we have 7,000 members. So I'm like, send, look up, send. They make 10 times off your labor
Right.
than they pay you. So when
Mhm.
you do something well and you can step outside of that and see the full fruits of your labor, like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, Tori, I apologize because I just realized, Queen, that it took me a minute to realize I needed to re-add you. But do you want to get in and tell us about Queen's formation? Yes, she saves my life on a lot of things. I mean, before we get into the book club meeting, Tori, your
Yes,
thing is
ma'am.
muted. There we go. Tell us about what you do, baby girl.
Oh, where do I start? uh, well, within my wonderful aesthetic class with my beautiful, intelligent aesthetics
You already got
instructor,
to add
Miss
it. You done
Portia.
passed with flying colors.
I'm trying to talk through this code, y'all. Please excuse me.
Your
And my mom
volume is
done
a
sent
little
me
low.
to
Is
the
there a way
school.
to turn it up a little?
Uh, it's how is this gonna go? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I can hear you better
Uh,
now.
well, I within skincare, I'm also learning more professionalism on the business aspect of it as well. So, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I really can't talk to.
No, no, you're good. Do
Please,
you mind if I tell
please,
them what you do?
please, because I'm trying to pull it together, breathe, and everything, all the above.
That works. I got you, Queen. So, on several fronts, she's a professional makeup artist. For those of you who are part of, the Aesthetics by P Brown tribe, you've seen all of the photo shoots where she had me looking like, I was somebody special. Um, you are a dynamic businesswoman also in your staging and event planning. So for anyone who, a lot of times I have to do photo shoots with product and at the day spa. And sis, I don't know about you, that is not my gift in life. Okay. Like, I just want to show up,
Right.
preferably in my t-shirt and my leggings and some Ugg boots, do my job and go. And so Tori does all the staging, things like that. I'm going to use that to segue into the fact that for those of you who are new to the group, we do small events where you get to know each other, network, and grow. Also,
Yes.
if I can get your business card, if you're looking for clients who can help or who you may want to network with, you are in a very specialized field, Miss Ronnie. So if you would send me what you're looking for separately, because I have medical contacts, I would like to send that to them, because anytime I can push the message or the envelope,
Yeah, I appreciate
I
that.
like to do that. And I have a couple colleagues who own and manage medical clinics. But the whole point behind the Women in Business Network is so that we can help each other as women in business in Nashville on multiple fronts, like multiple fronts. And one of those fronts is financial. We kind of hit on it earlier. I don't know about anyone else, and if you're catching this on replay, I'm not telling your business. So if what I'm about to say here home, it is not me trying to tell your business.
You've been looking at my accounts.
What you said, like, this is just me being honest. But there was a time in my life where I made good money. I had a nice home. I drove a nice car, and I was terrified to look at my checkbook. I was scared to look at my bank account because I did not have control over my finances. Right. My finances had control over me. And more importantly, what my perceived expectations of others, like what I thought others thought I should look like if I'm making the money I'm making. And so now I'm trying to meet this perceived expectation. It only got me in the hole deeper. Right. And it was during that self-care journey. And I had like queens like myself who set me down and was like, what is your quality of life going to be? Are you going to have the nice car? Are you going to have the flashy apartment, but only have $200 in the bank? Right. Right. Or are you going to have a paid off car that looks good? Are you going to have the paid off house or the paid off whatever that looks good and have a stock portfolio that's clearing $1 million? Right. You know what I mean? Or a stock portfolio that says when you retire, working is sincerely an option, not what can I do to make up for the income I've lost? Right. But I'm in the beauty industry, Miss Ronnie. Like, going from nursing to the beauty industry, do you know what I found that broke my heart? What? There are so many women still behind the chair after 50. Right. Not because they want to be. Right. But because they have to be. And the ones who try to branch off from that and teach, they're paying aesthetics instructors, cosmetology instructors, $15 to $20 an hour to be there 8 hours to try to mediate the education of 30 people. It's overwhelming. Right. They don't have a retirement. My tribe will tell you, girl, you will see every 15th and 30th, I post on my social media, y'all, I paid my future self today. And she said, thank you. You know what I mean? Because it took those women telling me, stop trying to be what you think people want you to be. Celebrate your wins. Right. Let women see you celebrate those wins so we can change the norm of what it is we need to celebrate. Right. If that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I think, when that that resonates, especially with our people, like you said, right? Because I think, I'm coming at it from a different perspective. Grew up, in one of the lowest social economic, I'm from Indianapolis, so I didn't know if this is limited to Nashville, right? But from one of the lowest social economic communities here in Indianapolis, right? And so it was a very different perspective in the sense that we didn't have a lot, right, for me to even shoot for. But that also there's a mentality that's developed in that, okay, that kind of puts you in a little bit of you kind of pull up some patterns of the people that are around you. So you kind of some of us graduated into bad debt, You get 18, you're like, oh, you got a phone bill that's 5 years old. Well, 18 minus 5 is 13. That was not my apartment. I'm just telling you right now, right? And so, you know, you kind of, you can graduate into this, right? That's what you inherited as part of, you know, the family and community that you've come from. And so with that, that's what you know. Like, you only know bad credit because that's everybody around you. And so then when you come out and you start those bad habits, you go to college, you start those bad habits immediately because you need to have an outfit for the party. It doesn't matter if you don't have any money.
And they're giving you $50,000 credit cards.
I'm just telling you, the Capitals have a party this weekend, and this is a really cute credit card. And so I'm going to get it because it's a cute color, and I'm going to buy an outfit, and I'm going to go to the Gap party, right? And so these things that make no logical sense are super logical, and all of your friends are saying, that's exactly what you need to do, because we're going to do it too. And then you graduate and find out that society has changed. And what, in some instances, like what I like to see is the kind of the new Jim Crow is your credit. You can't get no job now.
But you got to think about it. Because back in the day, what did you have? You had your name and your name alone.
And so when they changed the game, even getting a job though. So you graduate, you have your degree, and you're ready to get a job, but you made all these dumb mistakes with your credit. And as part of the requirement, which nobody taught you, is that they're going to run a credit check to make sure that you're credit worthy for a budget that you're not even going to manage.
They still got to call their mama and be like, Mama, what's my social? But you got 5 credit cards.
All I'm saying is you got a student loan and you got a job you can't get because you allowed needing to go to that party to get in your way. But nobody told you that though, right? Can
I tell you what I'm seeing too? Girl, I'm loving that you are on this book club with me because you were catching like, oh, what I'm seeing too is, can we talk about social media before we get into this video? You have these girls who are building this luxury Black girl TikTok, like this whole lifestyle. And I think, hey, Bree, I'm about to bring you in, baby. I think, no, I don't think. I'm not even going to try to be humble on this, okay? You have a lot of women who are trying to meet this expectation, and in doing so, what they're essentially doing is creating these credit card debts so that they can travel. They're creating these credit card debts so that they can look like what Instagram says they're supposed to look like. And no, because people, I'm trying to switch it so we can see everyone. People who are truly wealthy,
right,
are not flashy. One of the things I heard someone say to me that really threw me was, you know, there's not a lot of Black millionaires. Well, I'm from West Helena, Arkansas, right? And I saw a lot of millionaires growing up that were Black and country, because we're from West Helena, Arkansas. And if any of my family is watching that, I still love y'all country tales. But they all had, like, they might be missing 3 teeth and overalls, driving a tractor, because they grew up in a generation where you saved a portion of your money for a rainy day. You put a portion forward for the generation to come. Like, if you are wearing $500 heels and you can't afford to pay your rent up for 3 months, your priorities are in the wrong place.
It's just dumb.
If you are driving a $50,000 car and you make less than $30,000 a year, your priorities are in the wrong place. If you are taking a vacation, but your rent ain't been paid, or you have to put that vacation 100% on a credit card, you ain't got vacation time. Y'all know, you see what I'm saying? Like, I jokingly tell people I'm retiring at 45 and I'm building. The reason why I have a day spa, I have a school, I have salon suites. Y'all, let me tell y'all, this is the realest thing. I was up from 6 a.m. yesterday to 6 a.m. today, finishing a real estate course so I can be done in enough time to pass this test to jump on this commercial deal that I started negotiating 2 months ago. Because if I don't sleep now, my future self will be able to retire at 45. And I think I think we're normalizing what having a thriving, wealthy life would look like. We're not normalizing what it takes to get there, if that makes sense.
Right.
Miss Bree, baby, we've introduced yourself to us, Queen. Can I tell you I'm loving them curls?
I know it.
Thank you.
I'm loving
I
them.
do love it.
Well, they only started cooperating in the past 6 months, so you always know it's the struggle all the way until you get to where you end
Girl,
up.
I'm telling you, this natural journey ain't no pump. So
Girl, that's why I got locks. Y'all see them.
I
I was like, I ain't
know.
combing
I'm
these
still
mugs
straightening
no
mine
more.
now, so I'm not even gonna play with y'all. Y'all don't even want to see the real. That's no joke.
So, Miss
No.
Bree, tell us how you found this and what you do, Queen.
Yeah, and so I've always been on the meetup group. I came to one years ago. It was like a breakfast, and I came again because I saw you were hosting it. Like one, it was because it was you, and it was the topic of money. But I remember at the breakfast you were speaking, and you said one thing that stuck with me. It's like if you're not making like $25,000 a quarter,
It's a hobby.
I mean, it's not a business. And so that's the thing that is like, it's stuck with me. So already know that the things you say have impacts. And so
Thank you.
basically I'm at the place where I've been doing a lot of hobby things because we're in a stable place. Like I have a full-time job. We're making enough money. We are stable. But I am at the point where you're trying to do something above, and I'm trying to break away, like not from the stability, because we have enough. And so it's like, well, what is it to want more? Because everything seems arbitrary to me. So it's like, oh, well, we want $100,000. Well, okay. Or we want $1 million. It's just a number to me. It's like I want to get to the point where what are you doing that it feels like this is a part of your fulfillment, that you're helping to help other
Right.
people get places. And I'm trying to actively build my network of other people who see the world in that way, where you're actively trying to like break away and like, what are the steps, and just being more strategic in your time.
Right.
And so for me, it's like the finances piece, because I'm always helpful. Like I'll help people do all these other things, but what does it look like to have the agency, to have your own business, to have the outcomes, but you have to have your money right so that you're actively building something that you're going to be responsible for salaries and then finances. And, you know, we say we want these dreams. So I'm really just trying to put the pieces in place so that is like, okay, if we say we want to do these things, what does it look like? Where's the money coming from? How are you just operating in a way where you're moving away from hobby and you're just being more strategic? And I feel like the only way that happens is by being around other people who think in that way, see the moves they make on the other side, so that you're there then prepared to either make them, or you have like a circle of trusted advisors, so that when deals happen, you're able to like take it and just be able to benefit from it. But I definitely want to have the benefit of just having more freedom of my time. It's not like my job is hard. I'm good at it. That's not what the case is. But it's just like, I would just like to be able to just have my own time. And I've just reached the point of diminishing returns. Like, yeah, I could do this for you, but y'all seem trapped. You're not acting in integrity with the things. So it's like, that's the part I'm trying to be like, what does it look like to set up something myself? If that's
So first, let me say, I'm going to reach out to you outside of this so me and you can have coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
The second thing I'm going to say is that turning point for me, and I know this is going to sound cliche because our parents told us when we were little, but if you show me your circle, I can show you where you're going to be in 10 years. You feel what I'm saying? And I joke, but in Nashville, when me and my circle walk into a restaurant, waiters are like, no, we got them. Because they know for us, we're arguing over who's going to take the bill. And now we're throwing $100 tips at the waiter. We will buy out a table to be not to impress the waiter, because it's a friendly competition here who will help you. And that was new to me. Like being around, first of all, I will say, y'all, I'm not even the most successful person in my circle. Like if you look at my circle, I'm the baby. My circle is who I call when I'm stuck. You know what I mean? So if that's where you want to go, and I know here's the thing. It sounds bad for the people you about to cut loose, right? But it's a mindset shift. And you can't fully make that shift until you can visualize and see someone else already working in that. It's one of the reasons I stepped back. I'm going to tell you, so I had to step out of the organization role when we were at the Boss Lady Brunch. I do have another Boss Lady Brunch coming, but that was what we were doing. And because I needed a moment to grow the business. Like we had opened up the salon suite since then, or the solar suites. We've opened up the school. All of those things had to open from pain points. But I wanted to create a place. And I saw when I went back in and looked, I was like, it's no longer that place where women can go share information and grow. So you know what? I'm about to get back in and we're just going to put those meetings. So just know the fact that you want to do it is good. The fact that you have several hobbies, it's just about figuring out which one you're so passionate about. You're going to lose sleep over it. And then we can help for the rest, girl. It's coffee with like-minded people. And I love, and finances. You girl, sis. Miss Ronnie will tell you. And being vulnerable with your finances. Because I had to figure out in my financial journey we talk about generational curses. I don't think we realize like your finances can be a generational curse.
Right.
And I started reading so many books on finances. Like the ones I keep in rotation is The Richest Man in Babylon, The Millionaire Next Door. The Millionaire Next Door has a part 2 to it. I can't think of what the name of. I think it's like The Millionaire Next Door to the Millionaire. But the part 2 is written by the author's son. So he's like, these are the lessons my father told me. And the latte factor, which tells you how to make $1 million off a $5 cup of coffee. Can I tell y'all it works?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those where I don't like putting my business out, but I can co-sign that. You feel what I'm saying? And so I would listen and read those books. And now this one is one of the ones that are in my rotation. So every 3 months, one of them come up. So I have that constant money motivation. Girl, I forgot what was taught to me by my parents versus what I read. And then I would adapt my lifestyle to me. Right. But where you're sitting is the best place to do it. It always tickles me when people are not financially stable and they decide to jump. Because you know when a business can't succeed is if you're starving.
Right.
If you're starving, you oftentimes can't think clear enough to do. I worked as a nurse. I think I've retired from nursing. I've only been retired for 4 years. My business is 10 years old. So I did full floor rounds. And I would leave there and come here and I would reinvest in my business at 100% of its profits. And like, it was a process. So just know, sis, people will, and social media will make it seem like you're behind the curve. Your mindset tells me you're already ahead of the game.
Yep.
If that
you
makes
know,
sense.
And let me say, I'm not even on social media at all. Right. I've been having this, is against my religion, the one I made up, not to be on social media. And so this is new. Like I've never done anything like this before, to be on anything live. But, one of the things that kind of was a turning point, like you said, a book that I've continued to recommend to people, for me, I needed to change a belief system because it was not a system. My financial literacy was not taught, right? We just kind of moved in a way that everybody in my community moved in because of social economic factors that kind of put us in that position. And then you just kind of teach what you know. And so one of the super turning points for me was a book by Charles Stanley that's super thin. I can't even tell you, but it's called Financial Stewardship. I had to change my mindset.
Why you saying that? Why am I looking at
money? Right? From a biblical perspective, because I love the Lord. I have a strong faith in God. And this changed. I'd not ever considered finances from an obligation to the Lord for what he has blessed me with. And to change my mind about my obligation to God in anything that he's given me, $5, $10, it doesn't matter. When I changed my mindset, then I was able to be open to everything else because my motivating factor is not money. You know what I'm saying? True. And like you were saying, it's like, how am I living out my what I believe in? And what I believe is I have seen a lot of suffering, a lot of depression because of the way we are managing the resource that God has given us. Right. And if we can begin to change our mindset about, because it's not about me leaving my children completely rich or anything like that. We haven't seen, it is about leaving a legacy. Right. And this is one of the resources. that I would want, like you were saying, to create jobs and to be able to give back that has nothing to do with a yacht. Would it be nice to be on a yacht? Yeah, but do I need to live there? I don't. Okay. It's not my motivating factor. But once we do that, it's like the parable of the talents. God is like, to whom much is given, much is expected and required. Are we asking for and trying to be positioned for what we literally are able to handle? And like Portia was saying, he's not going to give me something if I'm not ready for it. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to be ready for it by, like you said, the groups you create, and then you're right. I mean, creating, that's one of the things I've been talking about. So it's such a blessing to be here with you guys, because the accountability and the having like-minded people in your circle, but also being able to be in a position to be that influence to the people that are in your community, that they are where they are because they are like you. They ain't even know. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even told me. And so when you do learn, it's about turning around and making sure we give back, because I can't have you graduating from college and now you can't get a job because you went and got a credit card that was purple because it was really cute. And you got that credit card and they gave you a t-shirt for it, right? He was on campus and they said you can get this t-shirt with their name on it if you put it on this credit card. I was like, yeah, I got a whole t-shirt for it. How dumb is that? But all my friends went and got one too because I told them about it, right? That's why we are. Okay.
And you know what? So TD Jake says something. I love that you brought up the talents, because two things on that. God expected the man with one talent to produce 2, not 10. He expected the man with 10 talents to produce 20. Do you see what I'm saying? Oftentimes we will have one talent and be mad we can't produce 20. But before you get to 20, you got to get to 2. And the other thing is, I'm going to put the link in the comments. TD Jakes did an interview for one of his books. I want to say it was The Crushing. But he said he was sick of people asking him to pray for like their marriage and pray for their situation. And it sounds weird, but he said, here's the thing. That's not what God do. God gave you a mind. So when God created the tree, he gave you the ability to turn that tree into a house, to turn that tree into a table, to turn those leaves into food. He gave you the ability to take what he gives you and create plentifully. He said, so stop praying for the table, stop praying for the car, and start praying for the tree, because that's what God does. And oftentimes with me, when I'm stuck in the vision, it's because I'm looking at the table when I should be looking for the tree. What does the tree look like? You know what I mean? And that's something that stuck when he said that. Now I'm like, I took the building I'm in now. I had one room in that building 10 years ago. It was one room. It was 350 square feet. I'm not going to cry when I give y'all this testimony, but they had to walk me through the whole building. Why? I don't know. Sis, I don't know. I needed that one room upstairs. Why I needed a full building tour, I don't know. And God said, wherever your feet touch. My mind, my vision was still looking at the table.
Right.
So I didn't pay attention to where my feet was touching. A decade later, every place they took me, I now own. If it's in this building, it's Aesthetics by P. Brown. It's me. And it was a gift from God, even when I couldn't see it. So I love that you brought that up, because you were so right. And I just got that book while you were telling us about it. So it's next on my rotation.
I'm telling you, it's an amazing book. I really feel like people, we need to, if we can change our mindset, because a lot of us are, we do love the Lord, right? If we can change our mindset, guys, that's right there is the key.
And giving. Yeah, I get more joy. And sis, let me tell you, I love that you said you want to pay people. Paydays for me are a blessing because I have to cut checks. But there were days where I had to cut checks and I didn't make enough to pay me. That's when God knows what your heart posture is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you got to cheerfully hand people money, even though they work for it, knowing that you owe the company and your check gonna have to be deferred for 2 weeks. Your check gonna have to be deferred. These people are depending on you to be a woman of your word. They showed up, they put in the work, and now you got to honor that word and God sent them the work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think for me with women in business, it's in that moment where you have to lack and still give that you figure out who you really are.
Right.
You know
and
what I mean?
honestly, and with that, I don't think that when we do something as unto the Lord, he's not going to let you suffer. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I mean, because in this, that would be something like, I'm going to trust you in this. This is what I believe to be true. I've done my part. I've read, I've become educated so that I understand how to better manage the resources you gave me. And as part of that, I'm going to pay these people. I'm going to watch you make it happen because I still got lights due too. Right. And allowing God to show you and to continue to, reinforce that you are exactly where you're supposed to be and that he has this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I agree totally. Ladies, I'm going to share a screen with y'all because I'm supposed to be doing this video. I'm going to play the introduction, and then with each section, she does really good with kind of summarizing the section because I know not everyone has gotten through it all, and that is okay. And then let's talk about it because I'm loving this dialogue. Y'all gonna make me forget all about the book. Hold on, let me share a screen. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Okay.
We can see it, but not hear it very well.
I'm trying to see how to make it louder. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find the volume. Yeah. Let me know if this then becomes too loud.
The thief in the book, I'm actually going to you're back. So you were about to read the introduction. Many times.
Can y'all hear it better?
Yeah, that was better.
Mm-hmm.
You're back. So you were about to read the introduction. Many times I kind of skip over the introduction of books because honestly, it's a little boring, right? But my introduction is so not boring because I give you a little tea on how I became the Budgetnista. And if you really want to skip to the juicy part, sis was scammed. I'm sis. I was scammed hard. I was scammed by somebody who was supposed to be a friend that I call Jack the Thief in the book. I'm actually going to tell you what page. If you want to skip right to the scam, we're on page 4. And I explained how the financial hardships that I experienced left me about $300,000 in debt. And I share all that because I know you might be struggling as well. And you might feel like nobody knows how you're feeling. Nobody knows how scared and how ashamed you feel. And I want to say that's just not true. So I share all my messy financial business. So make sure you read the introduction. It's going to make you clutch your pearls and say, no, yes. Let me know what you think about the introduction. As I mentioned before, I'm the Budgetnista on everything at the Budgetnista. See you soon for chapter 1.
Okay. So in the book, in the introduction, one of the things that happened to her, if y'all heard it, was she trusted this guy. Girl, this sound like a testimony to God. She trusted this guy who she thought was this money guru. She was in her 20s. She had saved up all this money. She had just bought a house. And she was like, I am going to invest this and I'm going to make it grow and I'm going to bring wealth. And the guy looked like, not that I'm talking about, black girl luxury TikToks or anything, but the guy looked like he was rich, nice car, the yacht we talked about. He was this big investor, and she gave this man $30,000 and never heard from him again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And for me, that resonates because how often have we met someone in faith, expected them to help us elevate, only to find out that No, they didn't. They had no interest in helping us elevate. They got what they could from us, gained what they could from us, and then you never hear from them again. I love the dialogue we had today because it was very real. Baby girl, it was so real. I'm proud that you have a comfortable life because that tells me God has positioned you for that step up. I think that is bomb, like real talk. And I love that we even talked about our environment. You know what I mean? Because you never think, you know what? It's one of those things. You was talking about the pink credit card. So all of my credit cards are secured credit cards. I don't have any unsecured credit cards, mostly because I'm scared of debt. So with all of my credit cards, if a hardship hits, they're all secured by a savings account. And I only got 3, so I say all like I got 5. But they all secured by a savings account. And so they just pull the money from the savings account, pay off the card. I ain't got to worry about nothing. And if I want to increase the limit on any of them, I have to increase the money in the savings account. Mm-hmm. And when I wanted it to look pretty, because I do, like that little logo in the corner, the one I use for business, girl, I paid the $5 to have it customized and put my business logo on it so it looked real cute. But I only have secure cards now because of college. Girl, I thought checks was cash. Imagine my surprise when they bounced. And Daddy had to come save me. I was like, wait, the money got to be in the bank that day? Like, and so I think if I'm honest, my financial journey too, much like hers, started from a place where I was sick of people taking advantage of my ignorance when it came to money. If that makes sense.
I feel that. I feel like I'm in the place where I'm sick of I'm not from the ignorant, like, you know, like they're trying to take advantage of me that way, but it's like things inside of the system that take advantage of you. So my family's always like, you should just, your student loans, you'll pay them off. But it's the fact that I have been paying them off the whole time, but it's just the money's been going towards interest. And it's like, we would have been done with it if I had just the knowledge of just pay the principal off instead of just been paying off all this interest, or if you had applied it in this way. And so it's just like when you waste money and people are just happy to let you waste money and nobody's going to give you the tools of like, how could you be a better student or be like done with it? And so even in terms of my jobs, I think that I'm surrounded by a lot of like really smart women. And what I see is that they're taking all their time and all their talent and they're putting it in for somebody else. And they never stop to think of what could they do if they put their same talent to what they actually feel like their passion, what they should be doing. Because I see the organizations that we're in, all of us are in education, they're really being run on our backs. And so it's just like without us, the things that people are saying are going to do all these things wouldn't happen. But that's because they can't deliver. I mean, it's because I know like you have to think about people and joy and all this. So it's all the extra stuff I bring to the table is the reason you're successful. But then you neither reward me or recognize it, or you take the credit, because you hired this person. And it's just like, I just want to get to the place of like, we can set up really wonderful, beautiful places for Black people to like really go and just be able to know more about yourself. And we work in education. And so we're so busy trying to tiptoe and do this thing to not make this. I don't want to have to need you at all. If I want to teach my children Black history, I should be able to do that. And I'm not worried about you, who, Sue, and whoever, because it's my money. And I can make sure they are properly educated in terms of like, this is how taxes work. This is how this thing actually works. This is how we're going to set you up with this business and just give you more of a foundation. Because I think I'm just at the point where we're really just setting you up to be a worker, and that's it. And we're going to make you do your whole life is for $40,000 a year. And that's just what it is. It's just a system to keep making these workers who can take orders. And it's just like, I'm ready to break away from that because I am now complicit that I trained the teachers who then trained the children who then trained, that. And so I just want to be in a space where it's just like, if you like, first of all, what is a vision you could have for your life, because you're not ever asked to do what it is you could be doing with your time. You've been trained to do whatever somebody else needs you to do. So first, establishing what that is, And then how do you set up the micro experiments to see if that's actually what you want to do? So how can you set up, if you want to do this, here's the environment you can actually try and get some social proof if that's an actual viable business. And so that's the type of place I want to create. And so
love you.
so that's the goal. So even tomorrow I was reading, so there's 2 books you can add to the list. I just finished Rachel Rogers' We Should All Be Millionaires, and she does it from a knowledge-based thing. And so her thing is just about getting a nanny, getting somebody to do your groceries. So just doing your mindset that you have to pay people for the convenience of your time, and so you can grow your business. So that's her her premise, and teach a class and all that other stuff. And the other one is Elaine Welteroth, who is the editor of Vogue. She's now on The Talk and all these other things. And so I was watching her class on Masterclass, and I was like, I love this. And so I stopped watching it, and I invited 8 other women who are in education like me, but who I saw, you have that potential. You keep your word, you're authentic, you're honest, the organization is running itself off your back. And the whole topic of the class was designing your dream career. And so we're going to talk tomorrow of watch the first 4 videos and see what is it that you're trying to do. So almost like a micro, let's just try and see what it is. But it's like, if you have a dream for it, let's talk about it. And then hopefully they can see my dream too of what I want. I want to be able to create this type of, I want to own the spaces where people come to do this work. That's the end goal, just to have that. And so if I want to do that, let me run it by you. Y'all are my target population of people who are like millennials, Gen Z, trying to figure out your life. Does this even seem like a thing? And then how do you go about setting it up? And I'm trying to give myself like a 9-month on ramp to be like, what does this look like? And make the money work, so it's that type of stuff.
I got a list of education-based businesses that we desperately need, but I don't feel like it's my genre to step in. So I'm gonna send you that list. Before I forget though, let me tell y'all a student loan hack. Again, one of the people in my circle taught me this 10 years ago, right? I started a 501c3 because I'm active in the community. I will always give back. That's just who I am. What I did was I started a 501c3. I'm an ordained minister. If you've met me a couple times in public, so God is in everything I do. So my 501c3 is set up as a faith-based nonprofit. The reason that's important is it costs me $150. But let's say you do a regular 501c3, you're looking at $350. And then every charity thing I do personally, everyone that my friends do, because they're a part of the 501c3, they work with us on a voluntary basis. You can then wrap all your student loans up into the federal forgiveness program, which will bring the amount you owe down to 0. It will knock off your interest. And for me, on my credit, it gave me the longevity of the credit report. And it reports that I'm making my payments, and then my student loans drop off next year. And I haven't had to pay them. And I think that's important because my student loans was $293,000. That's a mortgage.
Yeah.
A mortgage. So if you did an education-based 501c3, and then when you do those events, you just keep minutes of those events, that 501c3 is going to cost you maybe $350. You keep those minutes, you send the registration for your 501c3 to the fedloan.gov. They will wrap you, your hubby, and even the people on that's in those meetings with you, student loans up in that. And then, because I think what we forget to do is we have to leverage our resources. And so then that money that you're diligently sending to them for training you to be a worker, because I felt that. Like when I'm the corporate mental shift was one that took me a couple years. But now that was money that was probably an additional $500 a month that I then leveraged into a compounding interest account, right? Another thing that broke my heart when you were saying that broke my heart for me is y'all, when COVID hit and they started doing unemployment, I was like, I was a nurse. I was this. I done paid in all this money. I've never been laid off. Now I get to recoup the money. The lady that I spoke to pulled up my whole work history, y'all. Told me where I paid in over $500,000. And I was like, cool. So you're going to recoup that. You know, it's a natural disaster. I'm going to get paid. She said, no, sugar, that's not how this works. You have up to, I think she said 1 or 2 years after you leave your last job to recoup what you paid in from that job. If you fail to recoup it, that money goes to the state. It's Uncle Sam's money. So you mean to tell me I done gave Uncle Sam $500,000 of my hard-earned money that I will never see again for unemployment, and I work for myself. So now the system ain't even set up for me. And so when I started paying myself on a W-2 through my job, I opted out of unemployment insurance. I set up a compound interest bearing account. It's tax deferred. I can pull on it in case of an emergency. And the exact calculation that I would have had to send money to unemployment insurance, I now send to that compound interest bearing account. So that if I truly need it, I don't need no one's permission. But yeah, girl, I understand, because student loans, that system it's just robbing people. Like
It's even more than that though. It's like when I work with like 40 schools across Nashville, and I have like 60 teachers. So it's all a part, like, come be a teacher and all this other type of stuff. But it's like when you look inside of the classroom and all the classrooms are like, go to Baylor, go to Houston, go to all this other stuff. It's like a college going culture. Like, you will be successful if you go to college. And that's like a solution, a potential thing, but that's like, it's like, that's what they sell you. If you do this, then you will be, successful, or you have done the thing. But then you come out with all that debt and you have no idea of like what it is you want to do, or your purpose, or like, how are you supposed to support yourself? And then now I have all these teachers who just came out of Harvard and Yale and Princeton, who are breakdown away from like being able to do anything, because they haven't ever had to live real life, or just have to deal with children, or just the things that are like, so it just is from on a day-to-day basis. Yes, you see some of the joyful moments of education, but you just see how it's a system that's grinding people up, that says it's supposed to do another thing. And I just don't think it has to be that way. And
so, one of the things I learned about that though is I think up to 13 kids, you can have up to 13 kids in a building to itself. Correct me, because I could be wrong, and it still be considered home care. Is that correct? Like homeschool?
I'm not familiar with, but it could be.
So the reason why that's important to me is because you have women like me who 100% agree with your views and your dynamics. I personally paid for my daughter's tutor to drive from Clarksville up here to tutor her so that her education was expounded outside of what the school could give her, right? Do what?
I'm looking for the keys for upstairs.
Mo has them. Girl, it's the orange one. So my thought was, if you had teachers who understood the flaw of the system, offered to rent a room, whatever, and I've just learned about Montessori schools. I'm not talking Montessori. And you are willing to take my children from first grade to 10th or first to 8th, have it classified as a homeschool so you control the curriculum, I'll pay directly for that.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
So I think that's something that someone, like, I've talked to so many teachers who hate their job, but refuse to even look at that as an option. And I know in Tennessee, if I choose not to have my daughter go to public school, they will pay for her to be homeschooled. So like, man, we'll pay you. You could get the check. Do you think that is an option for some of the teachers you're working with?
It is. I think that there's lots of different ways we can run it, especially with the pandemic and like doing virtual options. Like, I've seen different models where people are like, hey, we'll do an out school. So you pay me $30, and anybody who wants to take this class on dinosaurs can come and take it. I teach it twice a week. So now the teacher is getting the $30 once a week just to teach these like random pop-up lessons, and people are able to generate money that way. Another way is I like either the Hebrew school or like the Japanese day school option. My middle school where I grew up, it would have a Japanese school on Saturdays. And so on that day, all the people who wanted their children to learn about Japanese culture and schools and all the other stuff would come and use the building on a Saturday to make sure they're preserving their culture. I would propose to do the same thing on a Saturday for whatever the culture we is want to teach. If we want to have a Wakanda day or whatever it is. But that's why I am in Nashville. And so
I have
that's
6,000 square feet. You could do that.
See, and so this is why this is helpful. It's like that's what I would want to do. It's like if I have a creative idea of what I would want to do, I just want to be able to like follow the McDonald's model of you own the real estate where the thing happens, or you provide the things where people can find those talents and gifts. And so like I know all the hobbies I have, like making curriculum or baking cookies or making earrings. That's not a business in and of itself. But if I have the real estate where I can provide you an audience to then buy your earrings or teach your classes or something like that, that's valuable. And I make my money off of like profit sharing for you teaching said class. And so those are the types of things I'm interested in, of just like, how can you have, it's a capitalistic system, but it's like social enterprise. It's like, how are we all coming together? Like, let's be transparent. This is what it takes to run a business. This is how this is successful. And so that's what I want to be like more a part of. It's like, how can we all eat at this table? And so that's what I would hope to do with my ventures moving forward.
I think that, I'm sorry, I had to turn this off. I think that is dope. I'm gonna say the only thing being in the education industry from the standpoint I am, like I own an aesthetic school. I actually own the only state board certified ethnic skincare specialized school so far in the nation, right? I say it like that to say I had to teach the vision.
Yeah.
And like what you're saying is amazing, but I can see where so many people wouldn't even be able to wrap their mind around it, to the point where that's probably the first step into achieving what I was blessed that I met this young lady, and she does project management. And I was telling her, I was like, you need to start talking to small business owners, especially minority business owners, because several of them don't even understand the importance of the role of project management and how effective and efficient, how much more effective and efficient it would make their job. So because we've had this conversation, like I know my history because my grandmother and my great grandmother, who is a century old, set me down and was like, if you don't know where you've been, you ain't gonna know where you're going. If you don't understand the original vision and mission, you ain't gonna be able to alternate but keep it, you know what I mean? Because generational wealth to me is equipping your children. Money is good, you know what I mean? But if money is not an option, or wisdom without knowledge knowledge without wisdom is deadly. So if you don't give them the ability to understand who they are as a people and where they need to progress forward to as a people, and then give them the tools to understand the health industry. And like, I love what Ronnie does, because a lot of people don't realize, bye baby, that your hospital is one of many entities. Vanderbilt ain't doing everything. In fact, Vanderbilt is doing what you just described. You know what I mean? And they're paying other people to run with it. And our education system could do the same, and it could definitely meet our children where they are. And it's definitely something that parents would pay for if they understood the vision. But a lot of the parents can't see past. Because here's the thing. I went to college. You know, I'm all about the Frederick Douglass and W.E.B. Du Bois debate. You know what I mean? I didn't understand it, though, until I became the child that they debated about. While I went to college, it was my trade school certification that paid off my education. And y'all, please don't judge me when I say this. And I know this is not necessarily finances, but some of the most blinded, ignorant, opinionated people I met in college. Some of the most just lead me to water and show me how to build the cup were the ones who wish they could have went to college but didn't. The ones who are sitting in the grind of the problem. The problem that for me when I went to college is college blinded me to what the issue was. Like I became happy to show up, work a 36-hour shift and make 80,000 a year, but not realize I'm about to sleep for the 2 days I have off because I just worked the 36. You know what I mean? So I see the pros and cons to both. I'm just saying your step one is going to be figuring out how to educate the people on what it like. You got to build that vision.
Right.
That is I think that's dope. We're definitely having coffee. I'm just saying. I think that's dope. Y'all, I was so into what she said. I turned off the thing. So let me pull up and talk about what she talked about in chapter 1.
Hey guys, this is Ronnie. I'm going to have to drop. I have to go over to my mother's house. But
no, you're good.
It was wonderful. Thank you for this conversation. It was refreshing. Like I said, it's my first social media debut ever in life. I don't do this. I hope none of my nieces and nephews see me on here and try to say, is Auntie being friended? No, I'm not. So, but yeah, you guys, thank you. It was wonderful talking to you guys. I really appreciate this. And I'm looking forward to the next discussion that you host, Portia. This is, has changed my mindset about social media. So I'm pretty excited, right?
I can't wait. And I
hope right. I tell people I'm 25 years old. I've been 25 for like a super long time.
And you
know, thank you. Since my son is 18, it's going to be kind of weird, right? With those numbers, but it's okay.
And you look
all right, ladies.
Bye, Queen.
Bye. Thank you.
So one of the things, and I'm going to go over the overview because my students, where y'all see me waving, my students have started showing up, girls. So that's cute that I got to earn my check. I will put an outline up, but one of the things she talked about was just creating a budget and building a savings as a whole, in ways to dig yourselves out of debt, how to boost your credit score, and ways to learn to earn. I think what I'm going to do is create a discussion board behind this, because since you got me overflowing, like when I say I love you, Bree, you can have my baby. You let me know what you need, girl. I have 6,000 square foot. We can set up those micro environments if you and the ladies after your meeting want to try that. Okay. So Queens, what I will do, since my students are showing up and I do have to go to work, is I'm going to set up a discussion board and I'm going to kind of put my notes from the book in there. I think what we will do is our next book will be We Should All Be Millionaires. I haven't read it. Let's do it together. That sound like a plan? Miss Yolanda, I know we didn't get to see you, Queen. Do you want to, you can leave your video off. Do you want to, yes. Can I get an intro to who you are? Talk about, because I didn't get to say hi to you, girl. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I was just a little bit late. My name is Yolanda Bannister. I've been here in Nashville for the last 3 years.
Okay.
I am a lifelong learner. So as soon as I saw this book pop up in this book club, I was like, I got to be a part of this, because I have seen her YouTube and I have seen her book, but I never actually started, the read. So It's wonderful. And I believe in knowing a lot about money. Personally, I went from, the other lady who just left talked about being in college with those credit cards. And my grandmother told me, she said, don't get that card. You don't need it. Why are you applying for that? And I did not listen. So I was 19 and had to have a Chase Bank card. So that was my introduction with no knowledge whatsoever. Fast forward to now, I am a great saver. I'm retired from the military. I got those multiple streams of income, and I'm just looking for that next venture while also keeping myself financially safe as well. and also trying to get my daughter into this exact same mindset. I did share this with her, but she did not register. So I'm going to keep bombarding her email.
Get her, girl, get her. So let me say, me and you are going to have to get together. We're going to have to do something on helping women save, because I think that's a mindset. And it was a hard shift for me. And I was saying earlier, like now on the 15th and the 31st, y'all, I send the future me money. And I put this meme up on my social media of me high-fiving me. And I'm like, y'all, the future me received her check. You know what I mean? But that kind of motivates me to go, entrepreneur, you're moving towards something. So you're going to have to give us the tips, the tricks.
I would be happy to, because you're right. It was a mindset. And I can tell you when it changed. I was living in Atlanta, and I was working like 9 to 5 every day, and I didn't have any money. And when I looked at the amount of like overdrafts I had, and I really calculated that, I was like, no, I'm throwing money out the window. I could just walk to the front door and say, here go $40 and close it. So I shifted my mindset from that point, and I still have all my books because it's like a little motivation, because I wrote everything down probably from at least maybe 2002 or 2005, where I came from $40,000 in debt to, having that nice 6-figure savings. So I'm honest with the numbers, because I have receipts nowadays for anybody to believe anything you say. But, I'm looking to learn, looking to grow, and build my network as well.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to inbox both of you ladies, because me and Bree getting coffee. And you're in Nashville, so me and you going to get coffee, because I want to do a savings challenge. For October, we're going to do a savings challenge, okay? And I'm pushing it to October because whoever wins, I want to throw them some money. So for me to do that, I'm a budget baby. So I need time to look at my budget and figure out how much of my disposable income I'm going to give away versus send into my investment accounts. But we're going to do this.
I'm in.
I'm going to do it. And Miss Bree going to send my baby back to Wakanda. So it's like, oh, I love you, queens. Girl, do y'all know y'all are feeding into me tonight? Because I missed this from the original meetups. And I promise we will not let it slip again. Okay, Bree? Because I think you saw me at our last Boss Lady brunch, or the second before last one. So, but I have to go teach. Miss Yolanda, you will be hearing from me. And then both of y'all, you will see it in the meetup DM, and I'll give y'all my personal number. And let's schedule that coffee date. Okay, ladies?
That sounds great. And nice to meet you, Bree. I love your vision.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you too, Yolanda.
Well, y'all queens be blessed. And I will, now don't forget, on the 12th, we have the sip and paint. Okay? If you can make it, I changed the times from 3 to 6. I'm only opening it to 20 people. I paid for a live neo soul and jazz band to come in. We have an open bar. We have food. And I'm talking like chicken and waffles, not like crackers. You know what I mean?
This is my first meet up with you. I look forward to it. And the 12th is actually my birthday. So
if I send you a ticket, I want you to know I'm showing out for your birthday.
We'll see. It sounds great. I don't have any hard plans.
Okay. And if not, tell your daughter to come with you, because I'm going to be looking for your name, because then I get to go birthday shopping. And that's a whole different portion. Okay? All right. Y'all be blessed. Bye, queens.